Coup in Mali and refugee racism, global injustice in 2025. August 2025. In Mali, generals are dragged from their homes and accused of plotting a coup. Meanwhile, at Dulles Airport in Virginia, white South Africans step off a government-chartered plane, welcomed as refugees, while thousands of already approved Afghan translators and Haitian asylum seekers remain stranded. Two very different stories, one brutal truth. Global justice is not blind. It's political, it's racial, and it's deadly. Welcome to Dr. Rose, Global Atrocities. Today, we connect two stories unfolding right now: Mali's deepening political crisis and the United States' official policy giving refugee priority to white South Africans. They may seem separate, but both expose a brutal reality. Who gets power, who gets refuge, and who gets discarded are decisions drenched in race, history, and global inequality. Mali has long stood at a crossroads of Africa's history. From the proud empire of Mansa Musa to modern instability, this nation has been shaped and scarred by both colonial conquest and military coups. In August 2025, Mali's military government arrested several generals, along with a French citizen named Yann Vezilier, in what authorities called an alleged coup plot. Among those detained were Generals Abass Dembélé and Nema Sagara, respected military figures now accused of conspiring to destabilize the country with foreign backing. But here's where it gets complicated. Some analysts suggest these arrests may be more about political intimidation than preventing a genuine coup. General Dembélé was dismissed just months earlier after demanding an investigation into civilian killings by Malian troops. This isn't just about stopping conspiracies, it's about silencing dissent within the military itself. Why does this keep happening? Because in Mali, military power remains the shortcut to authority. And because external forces, France, the former colonial master, and others, keep playing shadow games in the background. Mali's people, already facing poverty and violence from extremist groups, are once again pawns in a larger struggle where their voices matter least. While Mali struggles with its generals, an extraordinary story has unfolded in Washington, D.C. This isn't whispered rumors, it's official U.S. policy. In February 2025, President Trump signed Executive Order 14204, creating a refugee program explicitly prioritizing white South Africans. Let's be crystal clear about what happened. On May 12th, 59 white Afrikaners arrived at Dulles Airport on a government-chartered plane, greeted by federal officials as refugees. At the exact same time, Trump's administration suspended the broader refugee program, leaving thousands of already approved refugees, Afghan translators who risked their lives for U.S. forces, Haitian families fleeing violence, stranded and unable to travel. Trump justified this by claiming white South Africans face genocide, a claim the South African government calls completely false and that experts widely reject. Here's the reality. White South Africans remain among the most economically privileged groups in their country decades after apartheid ended. These weren't people living in refugee camps or who had fled their homeland. They were living in South Africa and applied for U.S. resettlement from their homes. The message is unmistakable. In a world where Black and brown refugees fleeing actual war zones wait years, sometimes decades, for resettlement, whiteness itself becomes a ticket to the front of the line. The United States speaks the language of equality, but its policies betray a racial hierarchy that has never disappeared. These stories connect because they reveal a single thread. Who deserves safety and who deserves power are not determined by fairness or justice. They are determined by race, wealth, and historical power structures. Mali's crisis traces back to colonial meddling and post-colonial power struggles, where military strongmen silence critics, while external powers manipulate from the shadows. The US refugee scandal shows that racial preference still defines opportunity on a global scale, with devastating clarity. One continent fights over generals and coups, another writes executive orders that decide which skin color deserves protection. The pattern is identical. Power protects those who look like power, while everyone else pays the price. And the victims? Everyday people, Malians who simply want peace and the right to criticize their government without arrest. Afghan interpreters who served alongside American soldiers and now face Taliban retribution. Haitian families fleeing gang violence. All told the same thing: your life matters less than those we've chosen to value. When we talk about global atrocities, we're not just talking about wars and massacres, we're talking about policies, arrests, and executive orders that determine who gets dignity and who gets discarded. Mali's authoritarian crackdown and America's racial refugee hierarchy may be continents apart, but they are chapters of the same story. A world where justice is still brutally selective. Closing call to action. Stay with me here on Dr. Ro's Global Atrocities, because until we expose these truths, the powerful will keep writing policies to excuse their injustice. Subscribe, share, and take action. Contact refugee advocacy organizations like the International Rescue Committee, support Afghan evacuation efforts, and keep asking the question the world avoids. Whose lives are valued and whose are expendable? The answer reveals everything about the world we've built and the world we must change.